Kumar Ganesan, Managing Director, Prism Surface Coatings Private Limited. Shri Ganesan, a Harvard graduate, leads Prism Surface Coatings, a global provider of paint, shop, and powder coating solutions. Since taking over in 2019, he has driven significant growth through innovation and energy-efficient technologies in surface treatment. With his leadership, Prism has now introduced the many energy-efficient technologies in paint shops where customers have ended up saving paint and fuel. Let's together welcome on stage Shri Preetam Kumar Ganesan.
Very much for that lovely introduction. I know most of you all have been overloaded with information, so I'll try to make it as short as possible, and I'll go lightning quick. I won't take up 15 minutes, I'll just take up 10 minutes. So just to give you a basic brief about our company is one of the largest manufacturers in the world, supplying complete powder coating plants and liquid painting plants and paint shops, paint booths, shot blasting systems for the complete railway industry and for anything that is manufactured out of metal, plastic or wood. So we supply complete paint booths. That is our core competence. And we have done over 1,000 installations in over 40 countries. And as an Indian company, we are proud to say that we have acquired a German company who used to be the market leader called OMT. So once we acquired this company, all our technologies, everything is German with Indian manufacturing costs. That's why you see German engineering with Indian manufacturing. So you can see this is our complete product line, powder coating plants, paint booths, shot blasting systems, and we also supply complete shower rain testing booths for the rail coaches and for the passenger coaches to test for any type of water leakage. And just to give you a very basic brief, these are our customers that we have done in the paint shop. We have supplied a paint shop for the railway industry, so I'm sure most of you all know these companies. Alstom, Neric makes for Hyundai Rotem, Jindal, which is now Texmaco, Tata Projects, Medha, Omax. So these are all the leading passenger coach manufacturers which we have supplied complete paint shops and powder coating plants. So what are the latest technologies for painting technologies? So the first topic that I would like to talk to you about is a paint booth. Does any of you all have any type of experience in paint booth? You can just raise your hand. Does anybody know what a paint booth is? Okay, that's good to know. So for those of you who don't know, a paint booth is an enclosure where painting operation takes place and clean air is let out outside into the atmosphere. So this is what, and as per pollution control board norms, you're supposed to have a paint booth so that clean air is let out because paint booth is a very volatile component. So the traditional type of paint booths are the wet type of paint booths which are normally used by manufacturers where paint overspray is collected through water. So there is a lot of disadvantage. A lot of railway manufacturers use this type of paint booth where you use water to collect paint overspray. But there's a lot of disadvantage for this type of system. You have a lot of sludge. And to treat that sludge, you need additives, chemical water. This increases your running costs drastically. Okay, so that is why we don't recommend this kind of booth because it increases your operational costs, maintenance costs, and it's a very expensive affair. So what is the solution that we are offering is something called a dry type paint booth. So a dry type paint booth is instead of water, you're using paper filters to collect the complete overspray, and it's very, very easy to dispose paint because as per pollution control board norms, disposal of paint is the most challenging aspect in the paint shop industry. So that is why we've introduced something called a dry type paint booth where you can collect overspray in those brown paper filters that you see. So this is for a company called Tata Hitachi. They're based in Kharagpur. So we have given them a dry booth compared to a wet type booth. So, and because of the disposal is very easy, you don't have any kind of sludge pit, you don't have water consumption, so your complete game changes, so your running cost drastically reduces, and it's easy for disposal. So a couple of the case studies that I wanted to show you, this is a company called Jindal, which is now Texmaco, where they were traditionally using wet type of paint booth. Now we have offered a dry booth, so it's paint disposal is very, very easy, and the investment cost also has come down. So this is another company called Medha. I'm sure most of you all know they're based in Hyderabad. They make the bogie frames and the Vande Bharat trains. So we have supplied them a complete paint shop with a dry booth. And most of you all know Caterpillar, those huge engines where huge amounts of paint consumption is used for painting operations. So we have supplied a complete dry booth. And this is for another company that makes the axles. It's called ZF. There also we have given a dry booth. And for tippers and bodies, which is called Vandana, they're based in Chhattisgarh. And also apart from the rail industry, the dry booth can be used for even aerospace, automotive, and anything that is manufactured out of metal and plastic. So the other latest technology in the paint shop industry is called the paint operator man lift. So what is this? So normally, traditionally in all the paint booths, you need a ladder or scaffolding to paint large parts, especially the rail coaches, aircrafts. In the paint shop industry, people use either scaffolding or ladders, but that is a very, very inefficient method to do the painting. So what we have introduced is something called the 3-axis platform, which is completely powered by air. So why is it powered by air? Because paint booth is an explosive atmosphere. One small spark can, lead to any kind of fire or explosion. So that is why we have introduced this 3-axis platform where operator fatigue can be reduced. They can get onto this platform and paint any kind of large parts. It's not only for railways, but any part which is big, like engines, aircrafts, anything that requires a ladder or a scaffolding. We are introducing this kind of a system. So I'll just show you a small video instead of me presenting more how this particular 3-axis works. So this is a typical paint booth where a 3-axis platform is fitted. So this is for a company called Cummins. You can see how huge these engines are. It's marine engines. So you see the platform that goes up and down and all the 3 axes. So this is why we call it 3-axis. And you see another platform coming in from the other side. So any type of large part that you have for painting, this kind of 3-axis platform will be very, very useful. And it's completely powered by air because we don't use any type of electric or hydraulic. With hydraulic, you can have oil leakage. With electric, you can have sparks. So this is a typical 3-axis platform, how it works. For a company called Cummins in Pune, they make these large marine engines. Many products which are very, very different, a lot of products are very, very different in today's market, okay? And if innovation has to be implemented, your product has to be different from the rest of the market, okay? But many times when we have introduced innovation, it has always backfired on us because of what you see on the screen. This is something called L1 policy, which is there in the government, it is there in the private sector, it's there everywhere. For those of you who don't know what is L1, L1 is the lowest bidder and they normally get the project, okay? I'm sure most of you all have been through this and are frustrated with this kind of statement, and it's frustrated me also. So if somebody has to invest in innovation and somebody has to invest in quality, obviously they will be different from everybody else. But what the mindset in India is, no, everyone has to be apple to apple comparison. You see purchase departments who come to you and say, no, yours has to be apple to apple. If you're giving something different from what others are giving, I will not be able to implement this particular innovation. Then what's the point? That's what I would like to ask you all. What's the point of having innovation and technology if you're not being appreciated for it? So this is something, but rather from L1, companies must start looking at lowest running costs. I'm sure most of you all have experienced this. Those who go with the lowest bidder end up suffering at some point of time in the future. But rather from looking at L1, we must change the policy to LRC, which is the lowest running cost. And that is what I would like to leave you all with today. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
Just wanted to know how does this magic gun gets power? It's also air, compressed air it is using?
Yeah, it's a good question. Because of time, I was not able to explain. Excellent question. It's powered through, since we're replacing compressor, we're using a turbine. So this turbine generates warm, dry, dehumidified air to atomize the paint. Because such less pressures, you cannot use a compressor with 0.5 bar and 35 CFM of volume. So that is why we've introduced turbine air. Because with compressed air, you have issues with oil and moisture and humidity. So that's why with the turbine, we're able to also achieve better finish and also very low pressures and very, very high volume. So that is, a turbine is what is used to atomize the paint, turbine air. No. That's a separate unit. I haven't shown that due to lack of time, but yeah, it's a separate unit and it's attached to the gun.